Alright guys, so the next thing is, since these pieces harden up, we got to do our C into the base here. So what I can probably do is do another C piece with two pieces going in an angle in there. And then, so we're going to start putting up new pieces. So I like this piece here, but I want to bring it down a little bit, so I'll have to cut it at the bottom. And then I got other pieces here, which this is a thinner one, I might keep like that. And then, we'll start building up smaller pieces coming down a little bit over here. And then maybe in the back, I'm not sure yet. It's all playing by ear. Maybe I'll do pieces that are going that way, I don't know yet. I'm gonna try to look at the movie again and just have some fun with it. Like I said, it's just having fun, messing around. I just want to make sure is you always have the statue in your base when you're doing something like this, to make sure that you don't put a big piece that's actually hitting this, so then when you try to put the foot in, it doesn't work. Like, say that piece worked good while I was there, but then when you try to put in the statue, it's hitting this and then you ruin it. So you always gotta make sure you're doing some pieces correctly. So this thinner one should be okay. Maybe I'll drop it a little bit, I'm not sure. And then this one's gonna go down a little bit more. And like I said, it's just playing it by ear, having fun. And then of course there's gonna be a lot of cleaning up and smoothing and running with it. But we'll get this drilled out and we'll get that set up with another piece when we're all ready. Alright guys, so as you see, I put down a piece of wax paper just so that the A's doesn't stick to the, the shelf and all that. So as you can see, I'm building up the blocks. I'm not going to go any further than this. I think I'm going to stay where I'm at. What I'm going to do next is, I was looking online and I saw that some of the, Fortress of Solitude stuff had this at the edging, and then in the center were like a hexagon or different types of blocks with like deep stuff going down. So what I might do is try to see if I go on eBay and find some kind of like, little square thin blocks I can put up in here and just give it like the sense that this is like the flat part and this is like, stepping over the edge type thing. And then maybe I'll add some crystals, from the Fortress of Solitude, maybe some crystals on a thing. I don't know, I'll have to toy with it and stuff, but the idea is that she's definitely in the Fortress of Solitude when I'm done with the statue. So that's where I'm at now, and it's just a matter of keep building it up. Alright guys, so what I did is I took my drill, very carefully, I drilled in all the way some holes going all the way into the base under in here. So this way, what I'll do is I'll get some magic sculpt and some pins, and I'll pin all this in here because I want to get this as secured as possible. Then the next step is, after that, I got to add more A's and magic sculpt in here. Now I know this isn't all even, but looking at it like this, it kind of looks cool. It still looks like it's all coming up out of the ground like the Fortress of Solitude. So when she goes into the base, we're looking pretty good. I like the position of it. It's just a matter of cleaning it up and just adding more stuff. So as I'm working on it, as I get kind of see the way the feet are, I'm thinking that maybe on this position here, maybe what I'll do is I'll build some kind of a canister type thing like they do in the movie with some of the crystals coming out. So like, you know, maybe the crystals are here. This is kind of a wall going here, and she's stepping on this wall with the crystals of Superman. So it's just something I'm coming up with as I build, but the idea is kind of there. So I'm enjoying the way it looks. So like I said, once I get all this secured here, a little bit better, because I might have to drill in between these pieces as well to kind of secure them, but I'm not sure yet. I think once the bottom is done, it'll be good. We got to play with it a little bit. And then it's just a matter of building on around it and just going from there. So it's kind of, like I said, I don't have a drawing. I have the idea in my head, and I'm just winging it and having fun with it. So we'll see what happens once we get a little bit further. Hey guys, small update to the Wonder Woman base. What I decided to do was I figured, looking at the movies of Superman, the classic with Reeves, I noticed that it's kind of was like, you know, snowy frost on the ground compared to tiling and stuff. So what I decided to do was one day I had a bunch of extra A's that I mixed up, and it was going to go bad. So what I did is, I did it off camera, of course. I rolled out the A's, I threw it on here, but I mixed sand onto it. So it's got kind of like, you know, I guess a snowy type surface now once I'll paint it up in white. So that's pretty much the update I did to that. And then I did some cleaning here and there on the base. I got to do some more. Just the winter's set in, and it's kind of a pain to get into the cold garage doing this stuff. But this is kind of like a side project, so I'm still working on it. So the next step is I got to kind of design the area here for her, where I'm going to start putting up the whatchamacallit, the area where I guess Superman's crystals are. So what I did was I got these aluminum rods. I'm going to have to design something coming up here with more of these pieces probably. And then what I'll do is I'll put these rods in, and then I got to start sculpting clear like pieces to go in. So I kind of wanted to connect to this base here instead of having this huge base. I want to have something with magnets that kind of snap in here that I can pop out, and it's easier for shipping and displaying and moving it around, because you could kind of keep her like this if you wanted to, or you can kind of add those crystals onto her. So I'll see what I could come up with. I'm going to mess around with it and see what I can do. Alright guys, so back to working on the base, and I got all my elements. I'm pretty much ready to start working on the part that I want to connect here. So I got the metal rods all cut up. What I did is I used my tool to cut them, and then I used my sander at an angle, and I sanded them down. I want to make them all even. So as you can see, they're going to go like that in front of her. Of course, I'm going to have to organize it. And then I got a bunch of wooden pieces, because I'll have a couple wooden pieces next to it, and I got to kind of glue it all together and aves it and stuff, so it's going to stand, you know, next to it. So even though it's wood, I would like to use resin, but the wood is probably a better bet right now. I'll have to just, you know, maybe it's going to be at the point where it just stands next to it, or maybe I can try to magnetize it, but it being wood, I don't know. I got to play with it and come up with something. But I had some clear resin left, so what I did is I created some wooden boxes and stuff, and I casted up some clear resin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to chop the clear resin up, and I'm going to make like, and sand it down, I'm going to make crystals like Superman. So what will happen is when the piece is standing up in front of her, I'll have a crystal coming out of it. So, you know, I can cut this down, and it just, I got to keep playing with it, but that's the idea. So it's just a matter of kind of toying with this piece that connects onto it, because what I want to do is I want to have it so, you know, if you want, you can display Wonder Woman like this, or you can have the crystal stuff next to her, or you can pop it away. It's kind of like an option type thing. So I'm just gonna keep toying with it, kind of organize it, and see what I come up with. Alright guys, so off camera and in the garage, I started gluing up all these pieces together, because this glue gets kind of potent, and I didn't want to really do it on camera, and I kind of wanted to test it. So as you can see, I pretty much got all the pieces together the way I wanted to. It's not, you know, it's still kind of wet, so I got to be a little bit careful, as you can see what the bottom looks like. What I have to do next is let this glue sit, but I got to start seaming all the little areas up and get this connected. Now the glue I use is my hobby glue, and I guess you should use wood glue. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm already going to go hit Home Depot, and I might get like Bondo, or I might get some other stuff, and kind of fill in all the seams going around, kind of like maybe spackle the area here a little bit, then sand it down, spackle a little bit over here. I need to get something like more spackle than A's, because A's you can't really do that well. But what I really need to do is focus on the bottom though. So I want to probably do what I'll get some A's, roll it out, and I'll push this on A's just to kind of keep all the pieces together. And then once I start getting all this kind of seamed up and where I want it, I think the idea is I might be able just to leave it where, you know, you can display the piece next to her like this. You could take it away if you want, or if you want, you can display it on this side of her. You know, if you like it there better, you know, depending on where you want to put it. So it's kind of like an add-on without going too crazy. In a way, it seems to be able to sit by itself without worrying about putting magnets there. I think maybe I'll just do it like that. I think it'll work out. It's just a matter of making sure all this is secured. And then once all this is secured and it's a nice solid piece, what I'll do is I'll put the clear resin pieces up top. What I also might do is, as you can see, there's kind of like gaps in here and in here. I might take some liquid resin and pour some resin in there once I kind of get this all flattened up, so this way nothing's leaking out. I think that'll help secure it a little bit more. And then, you know, I'll prime it and sand it and just keep running with it. But I kind of like where it's going. It's pretty much my envision. You know, all the clear resin pieces will go into here. And it'll be Wonder Woman in Fortress of Solitude. So we'll come back once I start sealing all this up and I figure out the stuff I want to use to seal it. Alright guys, it's been a day or so since I've been working on this piece, and I had some extra A's one night, so I figured let me kind of seal these pieces of wood together with some A's at the bottom. So what I did is I rolled out some A's, and then I pushed this piece onto the bottom like that. So now I just got to sand that down. And then another night I had a bunch of black A's. I mixed up too much than what I expected to work on a piece, so I had to get rid of it. So what I did is I kind of filled in some areas around the piece. It's messy, but it's all going to get sanded down. Plus what I'm going to do is I'm going to experiment. I never used it before, but I'm going to get some Bondo filler putty. And what I'll do is I'll spackle on, once I sand this down a little bit, I'll spackle on some of the putty and kind of smooth this out. And I'll probably do the same for the front over here. And just keep playing with it, you know. Maybe I'll find some other wood putty too, and I'll probably do some areas around the edges and kind of just get it all cleaned up, and then I'll prime and sand, and just keep going with it. But that's where I'm at now. It looks really messy, but it's getting to where I want it to be. Okay, so it's the next day. I went over to a hardware store. I think it was Lowe's, and I picked up an all-purpose putty Bondo, and I gave it a test drive. So this side's still kind of a little bit tacky. It's still drying. It's near the end of it, but it's cold outside, so it's taking a little bit longer than normally would, I guess. But this morning I did do this side onto it, and it worked out pretty cool. Nice and smooth. I puttied it all down. I let it sit down. I went and had lunch, and after lunch I went out and I sanded it down with the belt sander, and sanded pretty good. No cracking like I thought it was going to do, and it's looking good. So I got to hand sand it. I got to clean up edges. The stuff, the downside of this stuff, it seems, is it's very potent smell. You don't want to do it inside. And the other thing too is sanding it down. You don't want to breathe this stuff in like any other sand stuff. So I want to wait till maybe the weather breaks a little bit, because it's been too cold for the past couple of days, like 30s, 35. I want one of those days again where we had like 50, 60 degree weather. I could go outside and really get some stuff done. But looking pretty good. I like what it's doing. And sticks to the wood pretty good. I like it. So just got to get out there and sand it down, clean some stuff up, maybe do some detailing, sculpting in some areas. And I think once I paint it up in all that, you know, white with the pearlized interference colors and stuff, I think it'll look really cool with the, you know, stuff sticking in the side and next to Wonder Woman. So it should be in Superman's Fortress of Solitude. So we'll be back once I get some more of this done.